Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. As you guys can see, lots of fresh, fluffy snow on the ground. And you probably already also noticed that I'm here by myself. Sandra's gone, Vitter and Mum. They do their yearly meat pie cook-off, which is really great because that gives us some really nice meal for a lot of winter camping this winter. So, my shelter is not finished, much as I expected. I couldn't beat the winter, but it's I think it's good enough to try. So I'm going to be spending the night inside the A-frame here. I've got my winter well stove, which is just covered in snow. decided to get a maul. I much prefer my bushcraft axe, my cold steel axe. I shouldn't call it a bushcraft axe, it's just an axe, but it's my cold steel. If you guys have been following us for a while, we have a ton of white spruce here, and it's so difficult to split, especially if it has any size. This is wood that we brought from home, which is great for burning overnight. So my other axe would split it still, but I just want to give it a swing, see how it works out. Works out. Later on I'll test it with the spruce, see how it works. I know my camera never focuses, but we'll give it a try. So it's a Fisker's 6-pound maul. They also make a 8-pound, but I think 6 would be sufficient for my needs. And for that birch log, it worked great. But I can split birch with my other axe. See how it works out with some spruce a little while later. So, thanks so much for being with me on my first night in the revamped shelter. Like I said, it's not as complete as I'd like. There's a lot more I want to do on this one, but dang, it's nice to be back in here. I don't think I've spent a night in here for 2 years, so this is great. It's great. So we're going to be testing out the new maul, how it works compared to the cold steel. I love my cold steel, but it does struggle with white spruce. This stuff is all twisty and knotty. So I've got 2 logs, basically same diameter, almost the exact same height, full of knots. So we're going to try first with the cold steel, see if we're able to split it. Sometimes it works, but we'll give it a try. That's what it does with this kind of wood. It just squeezes in. If I could try to continue splitting it by turning around and hitting it like that. A couple of things. I've done it many times, but you do risk possibly damaging your axe. Also, you may just get your axe stuck farther in the wood. So, not ideal. We'll give it a couple more swings. See if we can get it split. Give it a twist. She's not going through. All right, let's give it a swing with the maul. See how this will work. Maybe it won't work either. Look, she went in deeper. Pops out nice and easy. That's a big difference. Wow. It's gonna be hard to split with a Y there, but yeah. That'll do. Now, some might say that the other axe weakened it. So let's give it a try. Fresh log. Hasn't been hit. Wow. Yeah, see how knotty this stuff is. Even with that big split, it still holds tight. Yeah. Yeah. Takes a lot more energy to swing this axe, but when you only have to swing it once versus who knows how many times, we'll be keeping this one here for when we need to split up this naughty pain in the butt spruce. I will say one thing about spruce: it's gorgeous in the winter. Well, so the sun's going to be setting soon, so I have a feeling that I'm not going to be able to keep the fire maintained all through the night. Usually I'd set an alarm and all that, but I brought a really good winter sleeping bag and I want to get a full night's sleep. So that means if I want to get out of that sleeping bag and be comfortable in the morning, I got to have everything prepped up to start another fire. So I'm just peeling a little bit of birch bark here. I'm going to get some twigs, some smaller hardwood, and just to put it aside for in case I do need to restart that fire. And I got to clean up everything around camp and all that before the sun goes down so you can still see. huge difference in heat in the stove when I switch from the hardwood to the softwood. It's a huge difference. The hardwood just throws so much more heat. So I'm trying to mix it around, make the wood last. I'm gonna have to go chop up some more hardwood as well. Many times when we're winter camping, we're eating quite fancy, but I'm also a simple man, and I do take a lot of pleasure in something as simple as chicken noodle soup with some leftover rotisserie chicken mixed in. I absolutely adore this. It's the simplest meal, and it keeps you nice and warm too. Well, things are working out pretty nice. I have to keep the stove pretty wide open though to keep some heat. There's a fair amount of gaps. I was never able to get the shelters finished as I wanted to, but it's with the stove going full blast, it's really warm. I can turn it down, it's fine. You do get some heat, but to be super comfortable, it's nice to have a good burn. So I already got my cot up, and it's still fairly early, but I think I might just set it up, put the air mattress on it, and just lounge, relax, enjoy a great, relaxing, and enjoyable evening in the old A-frame. Well, I've managed to get the stove dialed down pretty good, so it's not burning as fast as before. We're maintaining a good amount of heat. Plugged a couple of holes, and this has just been such a phenomenal night. I'm so glad that I'm able to use the shelter again. I know I've said it before, but there's something about it. I just like the cozy little space. So I'm probably going to be stop filming pretty soon because I'm going to be hitting the sleeping bag. But I just want to thank you guys for sticking around for this long, and we'll see you all in the morning. Good night, folks. Well, good morning. Another wonderful night in the A-frame shelter, 2023 version. So I'm pretty happy with how it all worked out. There are some adjustments I want to make. It's definitely not in perfect condition, but it works fantastic. I was warm the whole night, and right now I got my coffee warming up, and I'll be enjoying that in a few minutes. Well, it's significantly warmer this morning than it was yesterday. Wind's starting to pick up, but I guess it's going to turn kind of wild tonight, so definitely be leaving today. Sandra's going to be picking me up sometime around noonish. Because they're calling for like 70-kilometer-an-hour winds, and that's too much for this place. So. Just the sound of the wind and a few blue jays. Well, I was going to work on the spring today, maybe dig it up and reseat the reservoir and the hose, but it's so much warmer than yesterday, and there's a lot of heavy wet snow falling from the trees. This is not a waterproof jacket. I don't feel like getting soaked, so instead we're just gonna split some wood and have it ready for future trips. And at some point I'll be packing up and heading up for Sandra to pick me up, but there's still a while to go, so might as well stay busy. That one sunk in, but it does pop out nice. Wow. There we go. Too bad. That works. That's going to be it for this trip. My drive's going to be here soon, so I got to start packing up and settling up the stove, getting all that put away. A couple of things I wanted to touch on before we go. The shelter worked out really good. I had a blast in here, stayed nice and warm and dry. It was fantastic. Slept really well too, which is great. A couple of things I want to touch on. It's by no means perfect, and there's some, mostly it's a design mistake on my part. Others, it's just ran out of time.
So one, the tarp, unfortunately when I had set it up, I had set it up wrapped around the back wall, and that was a mistake. I actually had it wrapped inside on the previous tarp, and I totally forgot about it. So I'm going to adjust that the next time I have the chance, where we're going to be bringing it, the tarp inside around the poles on the frame. Secondly, our floor, it's a mess. I dug it out, I leveled it out a bit. It's definitely not perfect. I didn't bring in a rake with me to kind of get it leveled out perfect, but I wanted to do some other stuff because I know that this is going to have some water come in, especially during the middle of the winter. If there is a warm snap and then it turns cold again, this is going to ice up. So I was hoping to kind of trench it up with some stones to allow the water to drift through, so I kind of left it that way, but I ran out of time. So for sure, Sandra's not going to be joining me in this shelter this year. It's way too muddy and dirty, and she likes her gear clean. But it was great for me. It's great as an emergency shelter. So hopefully next year I'll be able to fix this floor up and make it really nice. Maybe put some gravel and some stone, and I think that's going to look great. So other than that, a couple of things here and there where it's just going to block some holes and tie out the ends, making sure it's all nice and airproof all the way across. Adjusting the door a little bit, I want to do some trimming there. But all in all, I loved it. I had fun, and it worked out great for me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you all again soon. Take care. One second. Alright, I figured some of you might have been curious how the maul does against something substantially bigger than what we were cutting before. I'm going to give it a try. Now, from my understanding, it's best to kind of go close to the edge and break it off in sections, but I'm curious as to how it'll do right straight down the middle. This wood is more aged than the wood I had there. This one's been in here for about a year, but it could be soaked and would just soak up the blade. So let's give it a try right down the middle for one, and then we'll go to the sides. Whoa! That was unexpected. Wow. That was more expected. Careful for the legs. That was bad posture on my part. That one didn't have any bark on it for over a year, so I find that they dry really well. This one here has some bark. It seems to have more knots. Something big knot there going right down. Try. Something tells me this one's going to be a whole lot tougher, but see what it does. It's also a taller log. Yeah, suck it right in. At least it pops out nice. I'll try to hit more towards the front here. That's pretty good. Oh, this one's a lot heavier than the other one was. Ooh.
like it. It's tiring, but I like it. Thanks again for watching.